the recording. Jai Baba. Good morning, everyone. We are fortunate today in that we get to spend some time in the company of Baba's beloved Mehera. I'm just so grateful to be able to spend some time with everyone today in that spirit. I'm going to turn it over to Gabriella, who's going to read a bio about Mehera's life. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, can you hear okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good. All right. So this is prepared by Karen Talbot, and she does such a beautiful job of just choosing the essential things. There's a long life, but she chose some beautiful details for us to understand and learn about Mehera, or remind ourselves about Mehera. Mehera Jahangir Irani, the beloved of the beloved, his Radha. Mehera Jahangir Irani was Meher Baba's closest Mandali disciple. Meher Baba said she was the purest soul in the universe and that she loved him as he ought to be loved. She was born January 7th in 1907 in Sukkur in British India. Her parents were Jahangir Hormuzji Irani and Dalatmai Sorab Irani. Her siblings were a sister, Paroja, named Freni by Meher Baba, 5 years older than her, and a brother, Karaso, born June 1905. He only lived for 2 years. He died in November 1907. Mehera died in 1989 at the age of 82. She was buried in accordance with Meher Baba's directive. Her tomb shrine is to the left and next to Meher Baba's samadhi. Her early years. Her father held a high post as senior forest officer in the Indian Forestry Service. He was transferred to Gujarat. As a child, Mehera rode horses, camels, and elephants. At age 40, her father fell from a horse and hurt his ear, which became septic, and he died. Her mother moved the family to Pune. Her mother heard of Babajan, one of the 5 perfect masters of the age, from her sister Freni, and would sit by Babajan every evening. Mehera at age 10 or 11 saw Babajan and asked her for a horse. Babajan said, "Yes, he will be very beautiful. You will get a horse and all the world will see him and love him." Meeting Meher Baba. Mehera met Meher Baba for the first time on October 15th, 1922, at the age of 14 in the Sakori ashram of Upasni Maharaj during a visit with her mother. They came to see Upasni but saw Merwanji first. They saw him 4 times on the first day at Sakori. Mehera didn't attend her sister's wedding because her ankle swelled up at Sakori, and Upasni Maharaj told her to remain there. A family had come to the wedding with engagement gifts for Mehera to be married to their son. Shireen Mai, her sister, and Mehera's mother were there. They all thought this would be a fine marriage. Mehera's mother hoped to have both daughters married so she could spend her time pursuing her spiritual interests. Meher Baba said, "Ask Mehera what she wants." Mehera said, when asked, "I don't want to marry at all." One day, a woman came to Upasni with a gold ring. Maharaj gave it to Mehera and told her never to take it off. It fit her finger perfectly. Staying at Meherabad. In mid-May 1924, they were the very first women, Mehera and her mother, to stay in the bathing rooms at Meherabad and to stay with Meher Baba for good. They left a life of a large home with servants for a very simple life with Meher Baba. It was the first time they heard Meher Baba sing and accompany himself on the drum. They traveled with Baba to Quetta, Karachi, and then back to Bombay, and stayed with Khorshed's family. Khorshid and Mehera decided to cook something for Meher Baba. They didn't know how to cook at that time, but thought of one dessert they knew slightly called Dud Pak Puri. It was mild. He called them back and asked if they thought he was an invalid. Then he taught them to make potato patties. Towards the end of 1924, Meher Baba permitted them to move to the post office at Mehrabad. Khorshid told them to stop using pillows, to be prepared for life at Mehrabad. When Meher Baba saw them, he asked, "Where are your pillows?" Pillows were sent for. They stayed there until 1926. Mehera said they loved those days. Meher Baba was very fond of music. He had a very beautiful and sweet voice. One morning, Meher Baba asked Mehera if she knew any English songs. "Don't you remember any songs that you sang at school?" She remembered Swani. She taught it to Meher Baba. The next morning, they heard Meher Baba loudly singing Swani beautifully. Meher Baba told them this was the first English song he had sung. Mehera was very happy he had learned it from her. One day, Meher Baba said whomever had a gold ring should give it to him and that he would give another gold ring in return. Mehera had a difficult time, but was able to remove the ring Upasni Maharaj had given her. Baba stood in front of his photo and said to her, "Take this ring and keep it." And he put it back on her finger. This was the ring that Maharaj had given her. He wanted to be the one to put it on her finger. Then he put the other ring, the one that someone had given him, on the same finger. It was a very beautiful ring with Meher Baba's name inscribed on it, and he told Mehera, "Wear it always," which she did. So both the rings she wore were given and placed on her hand were for Meher Baba. Once while in the car with Meher Baba, Naja quietly reached out and touched his sadra very lightly. Then small Khorshid did the same. Mehera thought, "If they can touch Meher Baba's sadra, why shouldn't I?" So she also reached out and touched Meher Baba's sadra. She hardly touched it when immediately Meher Baba turned around and demanded, "Who touched my sadra?" "Why did you do that?" He asked, "Are you in the habit of touching men's clothes?" "No, Baba," she replied. "I've never done it before. This is the first time." On July 9th, 1925, Meher Baba said, "From tomorrow, I will observe silence. You are to stay cheerful and happy. Take care of your health and obey my orders." After observing silence, Meher Baba wrote down, "From the first time I saw you, I recognized you as my Radha." She said, "And he told me some other things too, but that much I can tell you." During Christmas 1926, they returned to Mehrabad for the second great stay at Mehrabad. Meher Baba reopened the Hazrat Babajan High School in May 1927. The boarding school for boys was opened, Mehera Ashram. In March 1928, Baba divided the Mehera Ashram, and one section was called the Prem Ashram. Since Baba was with the boys, they missed him. They wanted to make a garland, but they had no flowers. Valu walked to a dry creek in the evening and brought the women oleander flowers, so they made a garland for Meher Baba. With leftover flowers, they made a wrist garland and a larger wrist garland. In mid-1928 in Toka, they also decided to make a cradle for Meher Baba during Lord Krishna's birthday. It tore. Early days at Mehrabad. On September 1931, Meher Baba began his travels to the West. Between 1931 and 1937, Meher Baba took 10 trips to the West. The women would put on plays for him when he returned. In 1937, he took the women to Cannes, France. In early 1933, the Western women came to India and stayed in the old water tank. By Meher Baba's order, Mehera was not to see any man, hear a man's voice, hear a woman mention a man's name, nor was any man able to. Tsunamasi or Kaku kept watch. In Mysore in 1936, Mehera was guarded with dark glasses with brown paper inside. She was not to read. Labels had paper covering their names. The only one who could touch Mehera for fitting clothes was Mani. Even though she was secluded, she had no privacy. Someone was always with her. Mani kept a diary of Mehera's every minute from Meher Baba until his return. Around 1935, Mehera would trim his fingernails, braid Baba's hair, and trim his mustache. The first time she learned to trim his mustache, one side was longer than the other, and then the other side was longer than that side. Then she learned to do it correctly. Mehera saved hair, fingernails, and mustache trimmings. Bird stories. Meher Baba gave Mehera, Mani, and Khorshid each a little bird, a little bald bird. They were hungry, so they fed them. They were so hungry they ate and ate and ate. Because they ate so much, they then took them for a walk. Rustam gave a Nepalese myna from Mumbai to Baba. Mehera taught the myna to say, "Baba, darling." Another time they had 4 salankis in a very big cage. One day, Mehera and Mani went to clean the bird's cage, but they forgot to shut the cage door and the birds flew away. One day at Meherabad, Meher Baba found some wildflowers in the grass. He picked a few and tied them up with a blade of grass. Baba gave them to Valu to give to Mehera with the message, "Give these to Mehera and tell her that these are the wildflowers that Baba loves best." Mehera dried them and kept them in her room. At the end of July 1937, Meher Baba brought Mehera and other Eastern women to France. They remained cloistered. Traveling with Baba. In early December 1938, they set off on the Blue Bus tours. They were no longer cloistered and able to sightsee. It was so hot in some places, they would wash their clothes, bathe, and then they would just put their clothes right back on since they had just dried. On the 4th Blue Bus tour in Ajmer, Kitty learned of a European woman who was returning to England and was selling her piano. Kitty asked Meher Baba if they could purchase the piano. He agreed, and it was sent to their room at Meherabad. Back at Meherabad, Kitty gave Mehera lessons every 4 days on the piano. First, Kitty taught her some children's tunes. One day, Meher Baba came in. She played Do Ye Ken John Peel for him. Meher Baba was very pleased with it. Then Kitty taught her a page of the Blue Danube Waltz. On the 5th Blue Bus tour, they came to a beautiful beach. Mani and Katie told Meher Baba they would love to learn to swim. Meher Baba said, "If Mehera said yes, if she wants to learn how to swim, then you can too. Otherwise, no." Katie and Mani begged her, so Mehera said yes, Baba, it would be nice. Margaret had them practice on pillows. Irene Billow gave her a nice pair of knitted slacks she could wear to cover her legs. They swam well on their pillows, but sank in the water. Meher Baba came to see them swim. He said, "You all do 10 strokes each, and then after that, no more swimming." Mehera had to be pulled out, but she did 10 strokes and passed. Katie and Mani needed more time and more practice. In Karwar in 1944, they had more swim lessons. Mehera did fine. In Aurangabad in 1944, Meher Baba had a swimming pool cleaned for them to swim again. Margaret had them practice strokes. In a few days, frogs arrived. Throughout the 1940s, Meher Baba lifted Mehera's restrictions. In 1942, in Dehradun, Meher Baba had Margaret teach them self-defense, and he gave them wooden sticks to defend themselves. Margaret blew her whistle, and they learned. Moved to Meherazad. In April 1944, Meher Baba brought Mehera, Mani, Meru, and Margaret to stay at Meherazad for the very first time. Mehera loved the trees. At Meherazad, Meher Baba told her to start a garden. He took them for walks, and they gathered pretty rocks, which became little flower beds. In 1948, the mason used those rocks for the foundation of the house. Later, when we were living at Mehera and the garden was established, Baba admired it and told Mehera how beautiful the colors of the flowers were. Baba, I said, this is Mehera, it's very difficult to garden here. We don't have good soil and there's hardly any water. That is why I appreciate it, Baba replied, because you put so much work into it and you do it with love. I appreciate that, and that is why I love it. That pleases me. Later, Baba asked her how she would like the house to be built. They stayed at Russi Pop's house in Ahmednagar while Meher Baba's house was being rebuilt. Meher Baba told Mehera to suggest alterations and additions. The upper floor was added with an outside staircase. There was an effort to keep cooler breezes in the house. During their many travels, Mehera gathered plants from many different regions in India for the Meherazad garden. In 1945, they were in Hyderabad. There was a medium-sized pool. Meher Baba had the secluded swimming pool cleaned up and had the pool filled with water. In Hyderabad, they completed their swimming training, and Margaret taught them to dive. They enjoyed learning the strokes. The women went to many cinemas. On occasion during travels, Mehera rode horses and ponies. The new life. In mid-August 1949, Meher Baba had the women in the East Room to discuss the new life. On October 16th, 1949, Mehera, Mani, Meru, and Goher began the new life. Of the new life, Mehera said, "It was a bit uncomfortable, but we were quite happy about it because Baba was with us, and that was what was most important to us. That was just what we wanted. We didn't mind going through all the difficulties, but we didn't take them to heart. We felt happy going through it for Baba, being with Baba, walking with Baba." Trip to the West. In 1952, these four women left India in April 1952 and returned in August to stay at the guest house at the Mehera Center. Baba's accident occurred in Prague, Oklahoma. Mehera was unconscious for some time. When an ambulance arrived with a stretcher, Meher Baba would not let them help him. He pointed to Mehera and gestured, "Help her first." Even though Baba was in very great pain and in need of help himself, he thought of another at that time. How beautiful he was with his love to think of another person at such a time when he himself needed help, said Mehera. Baba sent me a lovely note which Goher read to me. Even then, I could not hear properly, and later I read it again. Back at Meherazad and Guru Prasad. After the second accident in 1956, Meher Baba was in considerable pain. By 1957, the women relocated to Meherazad permanently. The last 12 years of his life involved tremendous physical suffering caused by his injuries. It was perhaps the most intimate time for Mehera, who cared for him so tenderly day by day, trying to ease his pain and anticipate his needs. Indian summers in the 1960s were spent in Guru Prasad. The women were always there, but behind the scenes. On January 31st, 1968, Meher Baba had Mehera greet the men Mandali. He told her, "Don't be nervous. I will be beside you holding your hand." Mehera was permitted by Meher Baba to come out of her seclusion and meet some of the men Mandali from a distance. On the porch at Meherazad, she simply folded her hands to them out of respect to their love for Baba and saluted them with Jai Baba. On January 31st, 1969, Meher Baba had Mani tell Mehera to be brave. She said she remembers that, and it gave her courage. What Mehera said about Meher Baba. Mehera wrote that Baba has walked through the Meherazad garden so often. He loved bright colors, and he always admired flowers and beautiful plants. So beautiful was his love for everything, for flowers and animals and birds. I remember that in January 1969, Baba asked me to tell him the names of all the kinds of birds that came to our Meherazad garden. Baba loved everyone and everything, and he loved his lovers very dearly, and he loved his lovers very dearly. That is why they come to him. Baba said that his love brings his lovers to him. So his lovers are very, very fortunate because their love for Baba shows how much Baba loves them. Their love for Baba shows how much Baba loves them. To God, only love is important. God only wants love. In accordance with Meher Baba's directive, Mehera's final resting place is by his side, adjacent to his samadhi. What others said about Mehera. Those who were fortunate to spend time in Mehera's presence on the porch at Meherazad were struck by her extraordinary beauty and unique presence, and by her sustained one-pointed focus on Meher Baba. She loved recounting Baba's stories, often giggling with joy over particularly happy memories. Mehera took delight in the simple things in life, and over time seemed able to transcend her loss through sharing her love for Baba with his lovers for his sake. Baba's sister Mani expresses most perfectly what it was to encounter Mehera at that time. Quote, the absolutely clear mirror of Mehera's pure, immaculate heart that Baba took great pains to keep unclouded by the dust of the world reflects Baba's image, the image of the divine beloved as none other can. What Mani said about Mehera. This role of being the chosen counterpart to the God-man amounts to the highest, purest, most spiritual relationship consisting of a divine love which the world cannot imagine. Another example of Mehera's number one position among us. While on occasion Baba would offer his hand to us to kiss, it was he who kissed Mehera's hand. What Meher Baba said about Mehera. Repeatedly, Baba has said, if Mehera is happy, I am happy. Baba told the other women, I love you all, but Mehera is my beloved. She is like my Radha. She is my very breath, without which I cannot live. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Gabriella. So beautifully read. Brought it to life. Thank you very much. Story of the beloved's beloved. I have a little video I'll show of Mehera. Let's see here. Some music in the background. So Jai Baba, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. It's always wonderful to have the opportunity to come together and sing for Baba. I thought I'd begin with a song, the words of which were written by Mani, Baba's sister. Mani wrote these words in 1989 for Mehera's birthday, and they express her feelings around the event of Mehera's passing to Baba. to the glory of love, sing, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Oh, to the glory of love, sing, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Sing of love to the glory of love. To reflect, dear Mehera, your supreme joy, we learn from the flowers and the trees, and from the birds in your Mehera's odd garden, who sing with every breeze. Wildflowers we saw like carpets unfold when your reunion gift poured down. Rain streams danced around Seclusion Hill with nature in emerald gown. To the glory of love, sing, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Sing of love to the glory of love. Because love sublime was made complete when he welcomed you to his world. Now we hear the thunder of his name all around, and the power of God is unfurled. Now we are out in the open, in the strong unshaded sun. The wings of good fortune protect us for the love of our beloved one. To the glory of love, sing, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Sing of love to the glory of love. Today we celebrate your ecstasy, born from separation's pain. Beloved and beloved now are one, and it's earth's immeasurable gain. Bless us, sweet Mehera, that we may be with him every step of our remaining way. In all that we do, and say and think. May we remember him night and day. To the glory of love, sing, oh sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. To the glory of love, let all hearts sing. Happy birthday, Mehera, Queen of Mehera, King, Queen of Mehera, King. Gentle breeze of his mercy, song of his silence pure, beat of his universal heart, help us to love him more, help us to love him more, nevermore. To the glory of love, sing, oh sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Oh, to the glory of love, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Oh, to the glory of love, oh, sing to the glory of love. Let all hearts sing of love. Sing of love to the glory of love. Sing of love.
Mehera, in what manner do you love him? That your hold on to him is so strong. We who have just come to know him, it is for this love that we long. For of all of his lovers in creation, it seems that he's closest to you. So Mehera, won't you tell us how you love him, so that we might love him that way too. Well, he came as if an angel sent from heaven, but we found it rather odd to learn that this angel sent from heaven himself had turned out to be God. And a simple heart breaks when one thinks of mistakes made in a moment so weak. And so faced with this task, we now come to ask help towards this goal that we seek. So tell us, Mehera, in what manner do you love him? and what makes your love so pure. That there is no hardship or suffering for him that you would not endure. We who have never been with him still long for a love so true. So Mehera, won't you tell us how you love him, so that we might love him that way too. Well, there's a mist on the field in the morning, but the sun comes to burn it all off. Just as the mist of our clouded imaginations is removed by the warmth of his love, and we see all around his love shining down direct from the heavens above. And we grow close, but yet as close as we get, we never can get close enough. So tell us, Mehera, in what manner do you love him? Though really, it's not hard to tell, for we see it when you look at his picture. Your eyes seem to show us so well. And though it might be rude of us asking, really what else could we do? For Mehera, if we knew how you love him, then we might love him that way too.
Jai Baba. All right. Well, we're all here to think about Mehera today. I wore green because I know she told Rainey to wear green anytime she was entertaining, and there was a beautiful photo of Mehera with an umbrella and she's got green on. So I do picture her as someone amid the emerald foliage. She's always in the plants and the trees. And so anyway, I just wanted to thank you. I had actually made another video, but I think that what I'd like to do is see if anybody'd like to share some memories or just some thoughts about Baba's beloved today. And if you do, just put your hand up. Don't be shy. Okay. All right. Well, I think it'd be nice to see some of Mehera and hear her voice, just because her voice was just astounding to me. Ralph, did you have a hand raised?
That was a very nice video.
Thank you.
Wonderful pictures of Bob and Mehera.
Well, I have another one I'll play. It's much shorter, but it's a tune that was written by Cindy Lowe called Mehera Moon. So I'll play that real quick.
Lucy, we're not seeing it. Not hearing you either.
Whenever I gaze at the moon in the sky, I think of dear Mehera with the past in her eyes, reliving the days she spent by the side of Baba, her love and her life. Theirs was never a worldly romance, not what one might assume at a glance, but pure and divine as an angel dance between hearts entwined and entranced. She was the moon sharing his light. She lit up the path in the dark of the night. She was the chosen beloved one. She was the wondrous moon, reflecting the glorious sun. Together they made the most beautiful sight. When he looked at her, he shone ever more bright. The sun lit the day and the moon lit the night, as she reflected his light. She was the heart of his infinite plan. She wore the rings on her beautiful hand, the The song of their love is a heavenly tune, a gift, a blessing, a boon. To be his beloved from God-given role, the sweetest love story that's ever been told. To please her beloved, only goal of the one with the moon in her soul. She was the moon sharing his light. She lit up the path in the dark of the night. She was the chosen beloved one. She was the wondrous moon, reflecting a glorious sun. She was the wondrous moon, reflecting a glorious, 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 glorious sun.
One thing that reminded me as I was watching that, I remember going to the guest house at the center the first time I think I was ever in a guest house. And I was moving in the kitchen. I was like moving from the refrigerator to the table. And I felt myself in such a graceful, flowing physical state that I had never really experienced as a woman before. I guess I always felt myself to be kind of cloddy and moving along and, but this was a different thing and I could feel myself moving that way. And, I knew it was the women. I knew it was Mehera. It was Mehera's love and influence. And I had met Mehera by then, but it just came to me like that she must have moved like that all the time. So it was the physical grace and, of course, that divine grace from the beloved that kind of hit me at that moment in the kitchen. Jay Baba. Yeah.
That was beautiful, beautiful share. Very beautiful. I was thinking, I don't remember who I heard that from. In one of the videos, either of Irwin or Jeff, that talking about these people is a now experience. It's not a past experience because they lived through the now. They lived in the now. And so their being is in the now all the time. And that is what is so precious about it. That is why Baba stories are so effective when we hear them, because they bring the moment to the now, because it's a now moment. And Mehera is absolutely in the now. So at least, I mean, I feel that about many of the Mandali. They are in the now. I mean, Baba is the first and foremost, and the beloved of us all, and them all also. But they are here, and if we connect with them, if we open up to that, like you did, open up to that in that place, actually, she tapped you on your shoulder and said, "Hey, we are here." So Mehera is unique, and there's no one like her. She's matchless, and well, Baba said about his mandali that some of them were matchless too. Uh, and yeah, I start thinking about them, and they're matchless. But Mehera was very, very unique, and she was so loving, and she was so unjudgmental, and she was so knowing everything to the very, very core of the person. That's what I felt about her towards me. She knew everything about me, and she was so loving, so compassionate, so accepting. And when I met her, she was totally God, and no doubt. There was no doubt. I mean, you didn't think about that it could be anything else. She was godly. And like the other side of Baba, like the other side of the coin, not even a moon to the sun, but the sun to the sun. And I was thinking about, because Mehera and Mani and Mehera, one after the other, yesterday and today, actually their birthdays are apart, but that they both started, they both were so gifted with the fact that they started very, very young with Baba. I mean, Mani was born into Baba, but they came to the ashram and started at the age of 13, 14. And they grew up into that. They grew up into this beauty. And I was thinking about New Life when they said it, when Mehera said it was hard. Mani said also it was hard. She was glad it was over. And but the joy was that they were with Baba every day, and not when he was later on so ailing and so in bad shape physically. He was up and about in this time, and they were with him daily, every day, and that's what they enjoyed. They didn't care for the cold. They didn't care for no eating, no conditions, nothing. You know, he was there with them. So that's what I have to say in the meantime. So thank you, Mehera. Your beauty is just unsurpassable. Thank you, Baba, and thank you for bringing me to you and allowing me to be in this beauty and meet Mehera and Mani and some of the mandali. Thank you.
Thank you, Michal. Yeah, words are difficult to find when you describe. Betty, Jai Baba.
This video, Ruthie, was so special to me. I've been a Baba lover for 50 years, married in 87, but I feel like your videos have helped so much to open my heart. I'm so grateful, and I think we should definitely see them on her birthday on the 22nd. We can talk about that. I'm so grateful to you, Ruthie, for all the all that you do. I thought I had more to say, but really,
Well, I think Mehera would just love looking at you right now, holding that kitty cat like you're holding that kitty cat, and that kitty cat's holding you.
And your heart is speaking. Your heart is speaking so loudly. We hear it so well. And Mehera does too.
as I was looking at our faces a while ago and thinking, one day we'll be those women. We'll be those women with the avatar. We'll all be sitting around and adoring him, and we're 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 in the in the procession. So, thank you so much, Ruthie.
Jay Baba, sweetheart, what a beautiful, beautiful reminder. We're in that procession.
Even Ralph.
Even, especially Ralph.
Ralph, you just feel so comfortable here with all the women.
And Prakash is here.
Where? Oh, Prakash, yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
And Raz is here.
yes.
Well, it's a small group. If you'd like, I can show a little bit of a video with Mehera speaking. Would you like that?
Yes, that would be wonderful.
All right, we'll try that out.
All right, take her also to Udwara. Take her also to Udwara. My mother looked at Baba. Again she felt, now this girl is to get married. What is Udwara going to do to, Yeah. It's a religious place, and it's a very different kind of place. There are very poor people who stay there, or Zoroastrians, but they're on the very poor side, because they, how to say, people coming from out, somehow they make little bit money there. What all they do anyway, they do their living somewhere. Anyway, my mother again was puzzled. And what is Udwara going to do now to the girl to get married? That thought came in her mind, but she put that thought behind us. No, never mind. What Baba says goes always. I must obey Baba. So her love and faith in Baba made her say, yes, Baba, I will take her to Udwara. Just as you want me to. Baba said, all right. And then looked around here, and then my mother saw that now nearly everybody had left and all that. So they also wanted to leave, and they left. And when they came home, my mother told us girls, me and my sister, to pack. We are going to Udwara. Oh, and my sister was very happy because we hadn't had a nice, journey in the train for a long, long time. So we were very happy. Just schooling and in the house and learning lessons was not very interesting. So now to travel to Udwara was very nice. Why? Because Udwara is a nice place. It is seaside. It is seaside, and the town, there is a, what would you call it, fire temple. Very big fire temple. The biggest fire temple in India for the Zoroastrians is Udwara, like a pilgrimage, So Zoroastrians, once in a while, they must do this pilgrimage, and so they go to fire temple. So my mother also, but my mother, what she didn't know, she asked this Parsi lady, wouldn't she like to come to Udwara with her, and we'll be a nice party together, we'll all go together to Udwara. For so long time we haven't done this pilgrimage, My mother couldn't tell her about Baba, because in those days, Zoroastrians were not following Baba, they wouldn't understand. My mother knew it. So she just told her to come with her to Udwara. The young woman was very happy about it. Oh, yes, I would love to. And so we all went to Udwara, And when we went to Udwara, you have to first pray in the fire temple, which is, you must do that, So we went to the fire temple and all that. And after the fire temple, it's real fun, you're on the seaside, gathering shells or making sand castles, and we children were enjoying ourselves and all that. And you have very good things to eat, everything. Fish, Anyway, we were there there for 4 or 5 days. But when we went there, on the second day, I'm talking about the second day, the very second day, my mother saw that my sister was feeling quite well. And she was eating well. She was not being depressed at all. She was
just her normal self, and was what would you say, had good appetite, and she was eating, and healthy young girl, you know. My mother saw this and she was very happy about it. Anyway, we stayed there about 4 or 5 days. We came away, and then we came to Pune. When we came to Pune, a few days, maybe I don't know how many days. I was very young that time. Let me see. You know, my mother started thinking that now my sister got well. Now, what about that young woman who has to get married? Now, how will that come about? You know, my mother was worried about her. What can she do about it? No, but it has to come about. How will it come? Oh, when she was young and robust, she didn't have an offer of marriage, and now, when she's nearing 40, who's going to marry her? You see. So my mother found it was quite impossible for her to get married. So she she waited and all that. But what do you think? The duration of the time, I don't know. Maybe 1.5 months or 2 months or something like that. She heard that this girl had offer of marriage at her age, you know. I mean, she was actually nearly 40 she was, and she got an offer of marriage. My mother, and then she was married. My mother was so happy about it, and from that day, she, what would you call it? More faith and love for Baba. My mother had that. What she, what Baba said, she did what Baba told her to do, and because obeying Baba, what would you say? Her wishes were granted. We say yes. And when this girl was happily married, you know, my mother was very happy. By that time, then Baba's telegram had come, you know, for some time after that, 6 months, I don't know. The duration time, I don't remember. Anyway, my mother had, when she was alone with Baba, you know, Baba used to come back and forth to Pune, go around India, and then in Pune for 2 days. So when he came, a word was sent to us that Baba is in Pune. Would you like to come and have darshan? You know, somebody gave us this message. I don't know who it was. My mother would always go, and I used to be with my mother also. And then, so she would want to talk privately with Baba. Those days, Baba didn't mind anybody talking to him privately. So in that time, must be that time only, that she had asked Baba to that she wanted to stay with him. And to serve him, because she knew now that to serve a perfect master was the real thing, and she would like to do that. But Baba said, "But how can you serve me? Because I'm not staying in one place. I'm going around touring, and I have not made Meherabad my permanent headquarters. I have not my permanent stay there, but when I do stay there and open a woman's ashram, which I have not done as yet, not thought of, I will call you. I will call you means I will call you first." In that way, Baba meant it and said, "I will call you." And so when we were in Pune, Baba had come to Meherabad, and we were in Pune. Baba sent a telegram saying, "Come as soon as possible and bring one trunk of clothes that will last you for a year, clothes for a year, and a bedding, nothing else." And so we got this. We were very happy, and my sister was married, so we got packing and very excited about it. We got all our new clothes out of the cupboard, and we started packing the trunk and so on. Anyway, we got packed in 2 days, and what did we? The whole house, everything was there. Even valuable things were there also. There was a safe and everything. Whatever there was, my mother just put a big padlock on the door, and she said, "We leave everything in charge of Baba, in Baba's charge, you know. He'll know what to do." And there were the 2 horses in the stable, one carriage horse, one was a riding horse, and the groom was there, the other servant was. My mother said, "We don't tell them anything, because if we tell them, then it'll be a, what do you call it? It'll take time. It'll be a business to sell the horses, or do this, that." My mother was not what would you say, not able to do. She couldn't do it. She just wanted to go to Baba, leave everything. So we put a padlock on the door, and we just left as if we are going to another country like that, Yes. So we came to Meherabad, and there we stayed with Baba, but our two rooms. Baba's old aunt was there, myself and mother, and one room. There was another room also, but this one room we stayed, and we cooked for Baba and the Mandali in Meherabad. We came to Meherabad and stayed there for maybe about 20 days or 15 days. That time, actually, I don't remember, but short time. And I used to bring in the firewood and feel very proud. I'm doing this, and I'm also being useful and all that. And from school, you didn't know not much about cooking and all that, and so on. But I used to take the cooking, what do you call it, the vessels that are empty, the cooking vessels after they're empty, then you have to scrape them and wash them. So there was no running water. There was a big tub with a tap. So I would be near the tub scraping and trying to wash and all that. And that was after staying there for some days. Baba was in seclusion in that little room. Do you know? Under the tree, there's a little room where the table is. There's a small room. Don't I remember? It has a parapet all four sides. There's Baba's room. Down the hill. Jopdi, they call it Jopri, but it was called Agra Koti very first. We asked the name, it was called Agra Koti, but now they call it Jopri, but never mind. What I want to say, Baba was in seclusion there. And our rooms were like this, such a way that from Baba's little room, cabin, Baba was in seclusion for some days, even that time. From that time I've seen Baba being seclusion and fast. So Baba was there, a bit far like that, and our room was like that, We could, when we came out, we could see Baba's room and Baba's door in it. So when Baba had finished doing his work, seclusion work, university work, he must have been, he did not step out of the room. It was a tiny room, and Baba did not step out of the room. Only thing that Baba was talking. That time Baba was not in seclusion, what would you call it? Silence. Baba was not on silence. I was cleaning the pots and pans and all that, and then only one Mandali was allowed to come to our women's quarters and ask if you want any help or anything. Most especially had to bring water from the well, draw water from the well and fill our tub, which had a tap to it. And so this was outside. It's outside in a field like this, outside the house. And he was filling this tap. You have bamboo here, and then two containers of big tin boxes, the kerosene boxes which fill. Each box carries 1.5 pail, 1.5 3 pails at a time. He brings on his shoulder, so he was doing that, and I was washing my dishes. Then he emptied both the boxes, and he stood there and he talked to me, and he said, "Do you know how fortunate you are? Do you know about Mir Baba? You know about who he is?" I said, "Yes, he's Postmaster." "Yes, Postmaster." And he told me many things about Baba and their life in Manzil and Meen and other things. Very interesting. He was telling me. And I was listening, and then the talk finished, and he again took his, tin boxes and went away and brought more water and all. But Baba had seen from there that he was talking to me, for it took quite some 5 or 8 minutes or 10 minutes to talk. So Baba's seclusion work had finished, and he must have been inside the door, but from there he must have seen me talk to him. So when Baba's seclusion was over, 2 days, because sometimes 7 days, 5 days, like that seclusion. So this 5 days were over, and when Baba came out and he went to the Mandali's quarters that was far away, Baba stayed with the Mandali the other side, and we women this side of the road. And when Baba came from the Mandali, then he came walking fast. I saw him. He had this Kamli coat, this black coat, Kamli coat that is in the museum. He had that coat on, his hair open like this, and Sajra flowing in the breeze like that. And he was walking fast, fast. It was so beautiful. It's very slim. His skin, Baba's skin was very fair. Fair means on the fair side, Baba's. It's like your skin. Baba's on fair side. And so, brown hair on the flying in the breeze, and Sajra, and he was walking fast, fast. He crossed the road and came over. And I'm looking, Baba's coming. I told her, Baba's coming. I looked at Baba. That was so beautiful. Baba came inside the house, and then we asked my mother and told about the cooking that they wanted a bit earlier. It comes a bit late, and something you had to talk. So he talked with this thing. With his aunt, my mother, he talked. Then he turned around and looked at me and said, when working outside, cleaning the vessels, this Mandali's name is, in those days, his name is Nervous. He is not living now, but he was a very young person, and he loved Baba very, very much, so dearly, very much he loved Baba. So Baba asked me, what was Nervous talking to you yesterday, like that, I got very surprised. When did Baba see me talking with me? So, but I tried to remember what was it. And I remembered, I said, Baba, he was telling me about you and about his life with you, and Manzil and Neem, and who you were, and how you had gone to Baba Jan, and how Baba Jan had kissed you, and all these things that I don't know. And he told very interesting things. Oh, he talked about me. Yes, Baba. Baba smiled and he didn't say anything. Then Baba again went back, to the Mandi's quarters, the other side of the road. We were on this side of the road, and that building is a pity. It is not there. The government had it pulled down, but it's a real pity because I had Baba's darshan in that room, and many others had Baba's darshan. The first time darshan in that room, and that was his place where Baba very first, when he came to Mehera, he stayed in that place, and he played the drum. He played the drum, and he sang on the sitar, Qawwali songs, and bhajans, composed by the perfume masters. Very beautiful bhajan, and the village people used to come to Baba to listen to the songs Baba sang so beautifully, and they were very, what would you call it, happy and surprised to know that Baba can sing such beautiful songs in their language, Marathi. Baba could sing in Marathi because Baba he knows 6 languages, and it comes very natural to him, and he sings Marathi, and also he knew other languages. Now what I want to say is this, that the villagers were much attracted to Baba. When first Baba went to was staying in Mehera, these villagers kept away. They did not know how can they have conviction, because in this thing in India there are always Hindu perfect masters, or Mohammedans, or Hindus, but never a Parsi. So they could never have conviction. They could not have conviction. So who is this Parsi? He did not. Parsi means the rest. What I want to say. Of course, they did not know the word Irani. So who is this Parsi? He calls himself saint. And they could not have conviction. Could not understand. But very gradually they came to know. They got more and more interested in Baba, and the few that came to Baba to bow to him. And Baba sang these bhajans to them and talked to them about Tukaram and spiritual thing, spiritual line. Baba talked a little bit like that to them, what they could understand. They were very, very impressed and very interested. And so naturally, next time, more of the villagers came to Baba that next evening when Baba play on the drum and sing bhajans and all that, and they were very happy. And so the women and children also came, and of course, naturally, the whole village came to know about Baba, and they were all gathered. Now, what happened was, I'm talking about that period was, let me see, this thing. One day, that same period I'm talking about is, when we were there, Baba one day told me he wants kanji, liquid drink, that is made hot on the fire. Don't you know, kanji?
Semolina.
Yes, semolina.
Milk.
Yes, semolina. And what is sago? Sago. Yes. So he wanted kanji of sago. And I didn't know how to make the kanji, so I rushed to to our place where 2 rooms are we had the fireplace there. I told my mother to help me to make this kanji. So my mother told me so much water I had to put in to make it liquid, and so on. So we made it a little bit sweet also, and I took it over. But then I remembered there was no cardamom. There has to be cardamom in it. What to do? So I ran and fetched some cardamom. But we didn't have that thing to make it fine powder, to grind it. Because the stone that we had the what would you call, ginger and garlic smell, and that won't do. So what to do? I was in a fix now. What to do? So I ran over to this nervous. Nervous means this one person who used to talk to me. So I said, please help me. I don't know what to do about this cardamom. What shall we do? So he said, it's very easy now. We'll bring a nice clean stone, wash it, dry it, and then there was a car, Adi's or somebody's car was waiting there. And that car, the footboard somewhere, there was a metal, stainless metal, something very clean it was. So we washed that part, and on the car, the footstep of where you step in the car, the one place there was metal, and we washed that clean. We wiped it off with a kerchief clean, and we put the cardamom and took the stone, and would you believe yes, like that we made the thing powder, and took out the the skin of the cardamom. We peeled it and made little powder, tiny, put it on the kanji, and then I took it to Baba. It's so funny. I can't. It's very. How would you say it? Is like what I want to say. I don't have the words to say. Means it was so. No, what I want to say, that Baba, being the God-man, the ancient one, of course I did not know he was God-man, but I knew he was a perfect master. But anyhow, I had to have the cardamom powder in the kanji. It has to be that flavor. So, one night Baba, kanji, the powder had to be made on this footstep of this footboard of this, this car, and with the stone, what I mean to say. So it was very like this. Anyway, Baba enjoyed it. Baba liked it. Baba says, very good kanji, that. But we didn't tell him how the powder was made anyway, and all that. Then that evening, Baba was singing. Somebody told us that Baba's singing on the sitar today. Oh, and then we all, women, 3 of us, we went there. And we heard Baba singing, yes. We went over from our place to where Baba was there, That rooms the rooms which I say is not there. It's very beautiful, big room. Adi was playing the sitar and Baba was singing, playing the drum softly, keeping time, and Adi was playing and Baba was singing very beautifully. He had most beautiful voice. So the men, I don't know how many men there were, because I didn't look much that way, but there were men that, on this side of Baba, and we women were on this side of Baba. I was sitting like this, not quite here, but here, right in front, not quite in front of Baba, but sideways, but facing, and the others were sitting, women, my mother and Baba's old aunt. And then Baba was singing and playing most beautifully. He was singing, take the high notes so beautifully. He sang with so much feeling, depth of feeling. Baba was singing, and with all his heart, so beautiful. When he's singing, he puts all his thing in it. I don't know what you would say, his heart in it, and he was singing so beautifully. And so I was watching him singing. So how would you say, quite entranced and looking at him like that. And then I saw his fingers, playing the drums so beautifully, his fingers attracted me, looking at his fingers also. And then after just a second or two, Baba stopped singing and he asked me, he was talking, so he asked me, what are you thinking about? Oh, out of all these many years, this woman, Baba asking me what I'm thinking about, I got very this thing, sort of flustered. And I knew what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Baba's fingers. So I was glad I was thinking of Baba. So I said, Baba, I'm looking at your fingers, they're very lovely fingers. Your fingers are very lovely. Baba held up his hand and said, you like my fingers? Yes. I said, yes, Baba. All right. Yes. And then he started playing. I said nothing other than, but he was happy that I was thinking of him, not anybody else. And I was happy also that, and that was the first experience I had that Baba asks you. Yes, yes, exactly, Baba.
How
So
old were
lovely.
you then, Mehera?
Huh?
About how old were you?
But I was going on with my 16th year, that is, I was 15.
15.
I was going on my 16th year. So then, so the singing finished and we went to our own quarters, to our own rooms. Then after a day or two, Baba said he was going to Quetta and that he will travel first, journey first to Quetta with the men, and we women have to come afterwards, after 2 days. Baba didn't want to travel with us women, so he went first. And so we were in charge of Gustaji, Meru's father, Rustam, and who was Naja's father, Masaji. Elderly, but he was robust. So anyway, we came to Baba was in Bombay, and from Bombay he was on his way to Quetta, and then we came to Bombay. So the place was now, what do you call it? The room that Baba was using now, it was there's space for us now for us to stay there, but because that flat was just, it was a lovely big hall, and the 2 bedrooms, but they don't belong to this house. What do you call it? This flat where they were staying was Khorshed's parents' house. Khorshed, Anyway, then we stayed there. We went to Quetta after that. And when we arrived at Quetta, Baba came and how our journey was it easy? He would talk, the small talk, and ask us how we were all kept well on the journey and all that. It was a comfortable journey. Every night he talks. And then we went back to the Mandi. And then every morning Baba had his, he stayed with the Mandi always next, Our room was a very big room, and in the room not a stick of furniture. A lovely big carpet, a cotton carpet, you mean cotton? No, I don't know what you call it. A cotton carpet, but this is red. It's not red. It's plain like this ordinary color.
Dari.
Like the hall you have in the darshan hall.
Dari.
Yes, in the darshan hall. But it's a very large car. All our beddings are rolled up. In the night we roll it open, and then in the morning that was our bedding. Anyway, Baba every morning had his bath in the Manli's quarters, in the bathroom there, and he would come, and we were in the room, and we looked up. Baba was in the doorway. Baba looked so beautiful. His hair open on his shoulders, and his white sajra, clean sajra, and he was coming in. But to look at him in the doorway was very beautiful. He looked. And so we are all looking at him, and Baba came and sat down on the little carpet that was his seat and a cushion at the back. And then Baba told Adi's mother Gulmai to comb his hair, and then he called his girls. There were only 3 of us at that time. Naja, Khorshid is Baba's sister-in-law, his big brother's wife, and myself. Only 3 girls we were, and then amongst the women there was Baba's aunt, my mother, Gulmai, that is Adi's mother. And so now Baba said, your girls come and sit here in front of me. So we all came and sat. Baba said, what prayers do you pray? Baba asked. And so we said what we prayed. Baba said, only that much we prayed. You bring your pad and pencil, take down the prayers that I dictate to you. Oh, we were so happy. We quickly went and got a pencil and pad, and we sat in front of Baba, and we were ready. And Baba dictated the prayer, and then after he finished dictating, he would explain the meaning and talk about this prayer. And then he told Naja to show her pad, has she taken down right what Baba has dictated, the prayer. So he would read what Naja has written, and it was okay, just a mistake or two. Baba corrected and gave it to her. Then cautious pad, Baba took the writing pad and he saw it and gave it back. It was okay. And he asked me to. The fun was that I had no practice in writing Gujarati because we were all the time in the English school, the Convent of Jesus and Mary in Pune. We were as boarders when my father was living. After my father died, then we were day scholars. So we were all the time in the convent school. But it was good that our elders had thought about this, that these girls are learning English and they know only English language. They must know how to read and write in Gujarati. This is our language and they must know. So a tutor was kept. Won't you sit down? Yes. There's space here also.
Sit here.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. So our elders had arranged for a tutor to teach us Gujarati in the evening. So when we came from school, before that, we were so happy. But we can't go to the kitchen without washing our hands and feet and face, everything, and then must go to the kitchen and have a light, what do you call it, snack you make it. Yes, because we were hungry and all that. So we would go to the kitchen and our aunt would give us something nice to eat and all that. Then we were wash our hands and we rushed to the garden and play and all that. We didn't care about lessons. We wanted to play first, and all that. No, but this time what happened was, I tell you, yes. So now the tutor was arranged for to come and teach us. On the front veranda, our family was always the back veranda where the kitchen is, dining room is, and that side. But on the front, they not much use that. And there was no need to use the front veranda. So the tutor would be waiting on the front veranda. And when we came by, we saw the tutors. We just learned. We had just finished schooling, and now we have to learn the Gujarati lessons also. It was too much. We were also tired and hot, and we had enough of, learning at school. And again, we have to start learning Gujarati lessons. It was too much for us, but we had to learn. So it was good that we did learn for a short time. We finished learning the what do you call it, the preparatory book, preparatory is ABCD in Gujarati, ABCD, all that, and then the first book comes. So we just had finished learning the first book, and by that time the what do you call it, this tutor was no more coming. He didn't come anymore. It happened. So it was good. We had learned just that much. So I knew how to write, but I didn't have practice all these years. I just gave up writing or reading in Gujarati. I had no need to. Anyway, we were still busy learning in the English schools, and then my sister wanted me to learn the piano. So I was learning piano. I liked to play the piano. I saw my sister playing piano, so I liked it. And we had a piano at home. So then after a few days, the sister says, "No, you can't just learn piano. You can't play piano well unless you know the theory. You must learn the theory." I said, "My dear, what to do? I didn't want to learn anything more." But now she's telling me to learn the theory. That was too much for me because I was struggling with my class lessons in my classroom in school, and now I have to learn the piano theory. And what do you think? My Saturday and Sunday, which I had, holiday, now my Saturday was cut. Half day went in learning theory. So in the morning, on Saturdays also, we had to go to the convent so far. It was nearly 2 miles. We walked there just to learn the theory. So anyway, I had agreed, and we learned.
Meanwhile, what did you days too?
Huh? Yes, I'll come to that. Anyway, then what I want to tell you is that's now we end this thing. I gave a piano practical exam and I passed in that. Somehow I scraped through. And the theory exam I gave, but I got 95 out of 100. So that was something. Well, anyway, but somehow I had to leave that school because my sister finished that school. She finished examination of Cambridge. So that school was very far from our home and all that, and some other reason also. My mother didn't want me to come walking alone here. So we had to go to a nearer school that was situated near our house, St. Helena's. So there I go. Now that's another story. I'll tell you about what happened with Baba in Quetta. So Baba took my writing pad out of my hand and he said, "What? You haven't finished writing the prayer? It's only 2 lines written." Baba said, "You've written only 2 lines." I said, Yes, Baba, I can't write very fast because I don't have practice in writing Gujarati. He says, what? Your parents didn't teach you Gujarati? I said, no, Baba, we were schooling, English school in Convent Jesus in Mary, and I didn't go to Gujarati school, have very little practice Gujarati, writing Gujarati, and so I couldn't write fast enough. So I said, all right, give me your pad and pencil. So I quickly gave him the pad and pencil.
Boy, to be continued.
Yeah, that's part one of 3 parts
Ah,
for Mandali moments.
and that's you just Google Mehera Irani, right?
Yeah, I wrote Mehera Irani, and then it asked, and then I went to YouTube,
Mhm. Mhm, mhm.
and they had part 1, part 2, and part 3. So anyway, I know yesterday we had looked at Mani and a complete video of Mani, so I thought everybody'd want to see that today.
We all asked you to play the whole thing.
Right.
We want to see it all. Thank you, Ruthie.
Hey, Baba, you're welcome. All right. Well, if anybody else has anything they'd like to share about Mehera, this is a good time. Otherwise, we'll close. All right. Well, let's all take a moment of silence with the beloved. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Yay, Baba.
Avatar, Meher Baba.
Baba ki
Jai.
jai. Avatar, Mehera
Baba ki jai.
Avatar, Meher Baba.
Baba ki jai.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Dear
everybody.
Mehera,
Yeah.
Thank you, Baba.
in their
Yeah.